Bam, ba, bam, 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 ba, bam, 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 ba, 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 bam, bam, ba, bam, bam. What's going on, everybody? It's with a sad heart that I announce to you guys that the #1 Revenant has been caught playing with cheaters. That's right, the #1 Revenant that you guys may all know, Revengeful, used to go by the name of Revengeful FPS, I believe, has been caught playing with cheaters as soon as he switched to PC in Season 20. A lot of you guys probably didn't know about this because I know for certain Revengeful has not come to you guys specifically, his own community on YouTube, and address these allegations. So I took it upon myself to address these allegations on his behalf in hopes that he kind of talks to you guys about it to show you guys his perspective of things. I want to be clear though that I don't think that he's a bad person, and I don't think that he intentionally knew, at the beginning at least, that he was playing with cheaters. But once I show you guys all of the evidence and information that I have, it kind of becomes a little alarming. At some point, I believe that Revengeful truly knew within his own heart that he was playing with cheaters and chose to keep playing with them. And this is not the first time that we've seen a player from console switching over to PC that ended up cheating himself or ended up playing with cheaters. And it won't be the last time. And so before we dive into this, I want you guys to come to your own conclusions as to whether or not we should castrate him as a community and kind of throw him under the jail, or if we should kind of forgive him, knowing that it probably was an honest mistake, and give him another chance. And so I think a video such as this would be the perfect opportunity to do so, especially with the current climate of cheating right now that's going on in PC. I think it's the most important moment to talk about something like this. And so without further ado, let's get into the story that we have about Revengeful playing with cheaters. And by the way, it is for sure 100% a fact that he did play with cheaters. I guess at this point, we're kind of arguing about the morality of the situation, but also if at any point Revengeful knew that he was playing with cheaters. But it did come out that he indeed was playing with cheaters. One of the players that he played with, the Bangalore, got banned for cheating midstream while they were playing. And so here's the story as it goes. You guys let me know what you think in the comments. So Revengeful posts this picture of him hitting Pred on PC within the first 3 weeks of the new season, since he just switched from console in Season 20. And those posts typically seem to do well in the Apex community, because there's this attitude towards console players that if you're a console predator, or if you're a console Apex predator, that means you're only the equivalent to PC Platinum. And that's always been funny to me. You know, my post that I posted when I first switched to PC in Season 12 farmed hella as well, because a lot of people genuinely believe that to be true. Although time and time again, we have proven that there are a lot of sturdy players on console. And in fact, a majority of people that are on controller right now in the pro scene on Apex on PC have come from console within the last couple years or so. So regardless, people still think that if you're on console, you're terrible, and come do this on PC and you won't have the same success. But time and time again, people prove them wrong. So it comes as no surprise that Revengeful's post garnered the attention that it did, although a lot of it was negative. And if you filter through the comments showing Revengeful love, you'll come to a comment from Caution, who is a really cracked Pathfinder main, who is more or less very unproblematic and non-confrontational in the Apex community. He kind of keeps to himself, and he really has never been a part of any drama that I've seen, at least in the couple years that I've known him. And so Caution calls out Revengeful, and at this point, nobody knew about this, whether or not this was true or not, because Revengeful deleted all the evidence and all the footage immediately. And so Caution asks, I don't like bringing up negativity, especially out of nowhere, but can you explain why you were playing with cheaters for hours last night? What was that about? Caution is reputable in the community. Same with Revengeful, more or less. Caution has more power in the community because he's been a part of the PC community for a little bit longer, and that's just kind of how the game works. It's weird. The politics of the game is weird. And so when a man like Caution comes out accusing Revengeful, you can have good faith that whatever Caution is talking about is probably true. But even then, you have to give Revengeful the benefit of the doubt. So let's see how this conversation plays out. Caution asked, why are you playing with cheaters? Revengeful initial response was, I've killed you multiple times on different days with a bunch of different squads. Don't try this. And I hated that response. I think it would behoove Revengeful to be researched on how to be better with PR. Because that's the absolute worst way to go about a cheating accusation, right? You know, you called me out for cheating, and now I'm going to ego check you saying, essentially, you're ass at the game. I've killed you so many times, even with different squads. Even if I'm playing with cheaters right now, I've killed you so many other times. The fact that I was playing with these two cheaters couldn't be the reason why I was shitting on you. I shitted on you with different squadrons. You're just terrible. So why are you accusing me of something so sinister, such as playing with cheaters? Your ass, Caution, is essentially what he's saying behind this message right here. And that's why I hated it so much, because you didn't answer his question. And that's what Caution doubles down with. You know, yeah, you have actually killed me with many different squadrons. And maybe I'm ass. And I'm sure some of the squad fights have been fair. And I got shit on. But you didn't answer my question. Why were you playing with the cheater squad for hours last night? And then it took Revengeful hours to respond with, okay, to clear up everything, I have proof and everything. I LFG'd on Discord and found these two people. Zim is Russo and Zim Connector. Here's proof of me LFGing because I do it often. And he shows pictures of him LFGing, which really doesn't exonerate him of anything at all whatsoever. All that is showing is that, yeah, Revengeful, you do LFG a lot. But once again, for the third time, you have intentionally avoided Caution's question as to why you were playing with cheaters. This doesn't even argue the fact that this doesn't even argue whether or not you intentionally play with cheaters or not. This just shows that you LFG'd, and you know, whoever you played with is whoever you played with, and if they cheated, not my fault. But in a season like we're experiencing right now in season 20 with this cheater pandemic, it is a lot more severe than he is trying to make it. Even though you may have initially unintentionally knew that these two were cheating, at some point you knew that they were cheating, and I will show you evidence of that. And that's where I fault Revengeful, and that's where I ask you guys, should we slander this man? Should this ruin his career? Because if Scrappy did something like this, I would be smeared immediately, because there are a lot of people that don't like me. And so I have other people in the community that have been smeared immediately, you know, even at the slightest hint of them playing with cheaters or them cheating themselves. Fortunately for me, in the 5 years that I've played this game, I have a track record that's clean as hell. I have never not once played with a cheater and never once cheated myself. And so it raises the question, should we hold Revengeful accountable because of the things that I just mentioned? And all things considered, I think yes. And I think there should be a strike on his record. You have to be better with this, and you have to be more thorough with your due diligence, especially considering the issues we have right now in the community regarding cheating. You can't just sit there and queue up on a random LFG that is known, by the way, for housing a lot of cheaters. You can't just go up in there just because you want to hit pred on PC so bad and you have nobody to play with, so you LFG with random people that you've never heard of before. That's mistake number one on Revengeful's part. Based on my experience, as shitty as this may sound, you don't play with people you've never heard of before on PC. Because history shows that when that happens, a lot of times, those people can end up cheating, and now you are held accountable more so than the cheaters themselves, because you are a reputable player that, you know, has amassed hundreds of thousands of followers, and so you are put on the hot seat, whereas the cheaters might not even be held accountable to the same standards that you are. Is that fair? Who knows? The reality is what reality is. And so let me continue on with the dialogue between the two. So that was his response. Caution didn't reply, but Revengeful replied again with a two-parter. Unfortunately, these two I met were cheaters on my team. No, I did not realize I was playing with cheaters because they were some terrible cheaters, TBH. The fact that I'm legit and was keeping up with them and caring at times is pretty sad. The game seemed completely normal as I would outdamage and outfrag them at times. This is another great example as to how you should never go about cheating allegations. He's essentially tripled down now. First the ego check, then a completely irrelevant piece of evidence that does not exonerate him at all or absolve him of his crimes at all. And then a third part where he shows, look, there's no way I could be cheating. There's no way I could ever know that they were cheating. Look how much damage and look how much damage and how many more kills I have over these two in this specific game right here. There's no way I could have ever predicted that they were cheating based on this end result of this match right here. And I think that's completely, and I think that's evidence you would toss out the window in the court of law. Not only is this just one excerpt from hours on end that they played together, but as we've seen, you know, these people that cheat, if they're not blatantly 100% hard aimbotting, rage hacking, hard wall hacking, where they're flying up into the sky and, you know, aimbotting people with a Spitfire like an AC-130 across the map, or like that Sentinel clip that you guys may have saw of that Horizon that would queue up in the air and rapid fire a Sentinel and headshot everybody perfectly in succession. We have seen that people that cheating exists on a spectrum. So your lack of knowledge on that is either ignorance or you're trying to cover up something. Because Revengeful, you've played this game long enough to know that there are cheaters that exist out there that do so subtly. But maybe I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. And you know, he just switched over from console. This is a completely new community, and he has no clue how these things function. But as somebody who's been a part of the PC community for a long time, I can tell you exactly how these things function. And cheaters do exist on the spectrum. But with Revengeful's knowledge, they're probably on the far left end of the spectrum where he assumed that, wow, I'm doing more damage and getting more kills than these two. There's no way that they could be cheating. But look at their names. Zim Connector and Zim is Russo. You know what a Zim is, guys? Allow me to explain what a Zim is. XIM is the name. Why don't we just look it up while we're here recording? Zim, I don't even know what it's called. Is it Zim Matrix? Zim Apex Keyboard Adapter. Let's go to that. So what a Zim is a connector or an adapter that you plug into your PC or your keyboard, and you plug it into a console primarily. That's where it's used a lot, and it's huge in the R6 community. And so what that does in a game like Siege or in a game like Apex is allow for M&K input on console, which is extremely illegal and extremely frowned upon. And in a game like Apex, the kicker with Apex is you could play on M&K on console and still play on 0.6 aim assist with all the functionality that M&K has to offer. And so even though on PC you can still do the same thing, on PC you can use the Zim, although PC is fully compatible with mouse and keyboard, obviously. You can still plug in a Zim on PC and plug it into your keyboard and still use controller aim assist at 0.4 value. And so that's why it's so powerful still, and it's still considered cheating. You're still playing on a keyboard, which is allowed on PC, but you're also doing it with with controller aim assist, and that's why it's considered cheating. And so in these two guys' names, we have Zim Connector and Zim is Russo. You have to be an idiot to play with two people you've never heard with those two names. I'm sorry. And again, we could chalk it off as pure ignorance on Revengeful's behalf, but I don't like that. I don't like assuming that people are stupid or unaware. I like to consider Revengeful as a rather intelligent person who probably knew that this is not the greatest decision for me to make, but I have nobody else to play with, so I'm kind of forced to play with them. And I think that's more appropriate than sitting here saying Revengeful knew that they were cheating from the very beginning, because I don't think he knew. And because I want to hit Pred on PC so bad to prove myself, because as we all know, Revengeful has a chip on his shoulder, I'm going to play with these two, even though I know this is a terrible, terrible decision. And newsflash to everybody else playing the game, never play with somebody that has those stupid-ass names in their IGN. And definitely don't play with them if you've never heard of who they are, so you have no way of vouching for who they are and whether they're real or not. And that's a mistake that Revengeful made, and you have to charge him with that. But unfortunately, Revengeful, it gets worse. Caution pretty much says, I explain, I appreciate these things, but why did you delete the VOD and the footage of the evidence of you playing with them? That could easily exonerate you if you definitely did not know that they were cheating at any point of your time playing with them. Revengeful goes on to say that, I wanted to delete the footage before anybody found out. I'm gonna say something crazy here, but that's exactly what criminals do. In fact, obstruction of evidence is something that can get you jailed in and of itself. That's obviously in a serious case. This is just cheating allegations in a video game. But again, you have to be either an idiot or extremely ignorant, or you damn well know about these things and you're covering yourself up. You're covering your ass. And so you're making up these stupid excuses that you know that hold no weight to your situation. You can't play with cheaters accidentally and delete the footage, because if it truly was an accident, you have nothing to hide. And I feel like that's a basic argument that people will use when proving whether or not somebody's guilty or not. I go and kill somebody. Hypothetically, I go hide all the bodies. Bodies, plural, craziness. I go destroy all the evidence. I go hide all the things that I was using that allowed me to unalive these people. I go flee the country. I'm removing myself in all pieces of evidence as possible. I'm going to be a prime suspect. I'll be the number one suspect in an extreme situation. I'm only using that bizarre situation to highlight a point that Revengeful, if you did not know that they were cheating, that's okay. But it tells me otherwise, that when you delete that evidence that could free you and absolve you of these allegations, that's when I can't help but think that you knew. And we have further evidence that probably shows you guys that he knew. Revengeful once again says, I highly doubt it. You still would have made this tweet and do your low oppression farm. Now Revengeful is chalking this all as, you're just impression farming, Caution. He quadrupled down. Caution continues on to say exactly what he says. They're yapping at this point. Real evidence we would have, you went out of your way to delete, and I think that's as real as it gets. Now you're saying multiple days together. Co-parter. I don't even know them. I met them through LFG on Discord. Like you said, actions speak louder than the words, and today I didn't play with them. I don't know what else you want from me. Revengeful is almost like gaslighting at this point. And take this as a previous gaslighter who's worked very hard on himself to rid myself from that type of way of thinking and style of conversation. Co-parter, you're telling he's quintupled down. Is that 5 times? Quintupled? He's quintupled down at this point. Co-parter, Caution, you're making up these stories in your mind because you're ass. Co-parter. What else do you want from me? I've apologized. I didn't mean to. It was my mistake. What else? What the fuck else do you want from me? Again, either an idiot, he's either an idiot, he's ignorant, or he knows damn well what he did, and he's covering his ass. You guys let me know. I made my own tweet about it, essentially summarizing what I'm giving you guys in this video right here, because I think it's important to talk about things like this. With how bad the cheater situation is, I can't stand that somebody as reputable as Revengeful would be foolish enough to make this mistake, and he has to be held accountable to the same standards that I would be, or that anybody else is. And the fact that a lot of you guys will sit here and defend him just because he's your favorite streamer or YouTuber is asinine, and in fact only perpetuates this issue in the cyclical nature of cheating in Apex. And the fault lies in your hands as well. If I got found for cheating, the last thing I'd want is my community sitting there making up bullshit to pretend that I'm not cheating, or to cope that Scrappy's way better, that I could never expect him to do that. You don't know these people on the internet. You don't know Revengeful. You don't know what he's capable of, and you don't know what he's knowledgeable of. And so you have to look at his actions and his mistakes and his successes to ultimately determine, with a grain of salt, who he possibly could be in real life. And we have to look at this case and take it very seriously, because if we don't, the cycle only continues. This is not a smear campaign against Revengeful. This is essentially me just reporting news to you guys, because I know he hasn't talked to you guys about it, so that you can come to your own conclusion yourself. Now, I'm looking for that tweet still. I probably could have looked it up in a quicker way. I think I went way too damn far. Here he is. So this was my response to his evidence, Caution's evidence, that we'll get into in just a moment. This was tweeted the day after, and as you can see, blew up. I state that in Revengeful scenario, he's either an idiot for not knowing or an idiot for knowing. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. No way around it. He can come up with any excuse, but in my 5 years of playing this game, not once have I ever mistakenly played with a cheater. And then somebody brings up a solid point that anecdotal piece of evidence for my circumstances doesn't supersede the circumstances and experience of other players such as Revengeful. But at the end of the day, you have to do your due diligence as a streamer, especially in a murky season like this where almost everybody is cheating. You got to be solid with yourself. You're LFGing in a random Discord that's known for housing a lot of cheaters. First mistake. Second mistake, you play with two players that you've never heard of in your life who had the name of Zim in it. Based on my experiences in this game, people that play with that name are weird because, one, they're usually using a Zim, but two, they look at it as a joke. And three, at the end of the day, they have the perfect excuse, because nobody really knows at the end of the day, of saying, excuse me, I'm actually not cheating. This is just a joke, which was their exact defense. We'll later see that they admitted to cheating, his teammates. And so there's just so many levels to this where Revengeful could have crossed every T and dotted every I if he was more thorough with his way of gaming. That could have easily, cleared him from any of these accusations. But with all the layers involved, how do you mess up in one way 6 different times and just try to chalk it off as an accident, You can't make a mistake 16, 17, 18 times. Still call it an accident. That is intentional at some point. And so that's kind of the approach that I was trying to make. You playing with the cheaters in Discord. You don't know who these players are, and in fact, when confronted this information by Caution, you quintupled down by ego checking him and essentially saying that he was ass and that you're better than him. And just because he died to you doesn't mean that he gets to accuse you of cheating. That's the worst way to go about it. And so let's get into this video footage right here, where we see proof, I guess you still can take it with a grain of salt, that these people are cheating. So Caution playing with this himself, obviously. Waddle, pause. Waddle and Wizizzy, whoever that is, whoever these guys are, I don't know. Unimportant. Just if you can't read, I just want you guys to have the full story at hand. And so let me just show you the video, okay, and then I'll get into commentating. This is gonna be a rather long video overall. Okay, and so this is when Caution finds out, is this actually Revengeful? Again, Caution probably has never had an encounter with Revengeful in his life, but when you more or less have some weight in the community, everybody sees everything. So he goes to his banner and says, wow, is this Revengeful? It couldn't be. And Caution will go on later to say, this is actually Revengeful, obviously, as we see right here. But I'm almost certain that his two teammates are cheating. But there's no way, based on the information that Caution has on Revengeful, there's no way that he thought that Revengeful could be playing with cheaters. And that's what he'll go on to say. Try to summarize it for you guys. That statement, I don't think he would play with cheaters. The only reason why he gives him the benefit of the doubt is because Revengeful is a person that has amassed over 100,000 subscribers on YouTube and is more or less reputable, at least within the console community. And because of that, as Caution states, I don't think he'd play with cheaters because I've heard of this guy before. I've seen him around. He's built an audience. And based on the information, there's no way he would intentionally play with cheaters. I mean, he's right about that. Although you can take this video with a grain of salt, I will prove to you right now, based on my experiences in time with this game, whoever just killed him right here, this Bangalore is 100% cheating, and we can slow it down for you play by play and show you how he's cheating. Caution has a drop on him. This person will have 0 audio cue on this climb up, not only because is he, what, maybe about 30 meters away, but also he's turned the opposite way with a Bengal falling right on top of his dome ski. You will not hear a Pathfinder climb up at this exact moment. Okay, number 1. Number 2, Caution has a jump on him. This person is still not looking at him and still doesn't start firing at him. Mind you, first initial shot was down here at 50 damage or so. Caution is more or less full health. You have a Bangalore being thrown. I think he's the one that threw the Bengal on them, actually. The Bengal is coming towards them. You have a Bengal being thrown down at them. You are able to turn around at the proper exact moment with inhumane reaction time as soon as Caution climbs up, even though you're not looking at him. Caution's got the jump on you, and you proceed to one clip him with the Havoc, one of the heaviest recoil guns in the game. And again, I'm trying to get you into the mind of a Apex Pred player and into the mind of what Caution is thinking right now, because I know exactly what he's thinking, right? And so, based on all things considered, you could have good faith that this person is cheating. You one clip him on something vicious while you turn on him, while Caution has a jump on you, while a Bang ult is covering up any audio cues, and also, mind you, is shaking your screen. Notice how it's shaking Caution's screen, the Bang ult. Also, the flinch that Caution has when he's getting shot at. His aim starts to go everywhere. And although you could chalk that off as Caution, needing more control and refinement over his aim, the kill that this Bangalore had against Caution raises alarms, and it should. I would think the same thing, that 100% that team is cheating, and Revengeful is now therefore guilty by association, intentionally, whether he intentionally played with them or not, whether he knew that they were cheating or not. We'll get into a tweet later by a person that was in Revengeful's chat. Unfortunately, no evidence about it because Revengeful has deleted everything, so all we can use is word of mouth, essentially. But there is a person that tweeted directly at me that there were people in Revengeful's chat that let him know while he was playing with these two people that I would hate to see you ruin your own reputation by playing with these two cheaters, and yet Revengeful ignored it and kept playing with them. And we've seen that happen a lot because people care about hidden pred on PC. People care about their RP. People will tend to overlook their own morals for their own personal gain. And we see that in real life scenarios all the time. So I don't know why this would be like a surprise to some people. Regardless, as the video goes on, we'll see some more alarming footage. Nothing has been proven yet on behalf of Zim Connector cheating or not. And that's what Caution is doing right now. He's kind of looking at the gameplay to see if he is or isn't cheating. That right there should already raise more alarms or ring more bells right there too. No intel at all that a person would be right here. In fact, Revengeful didn't even know it was right here, because I don't think Revengeful is cheating at all. In fact, I know he's probably not. Revengeful, who is ahead of him, who would have louder footstep audio and better visual cues on somebody who's closer to Revengeful than his teammate. Revengeful jumps straight down, walks right past that guy, and Zim Connector's Bangalore teammate pauses and freezes right before Revengeful could even react, although Revengeful was in front of him. And you can see Revengeful's awareness of, excuse me, I believe I said that Revengeful was jumping down, but you can see Revengeful's human-like reaction time in real time right here. Revengeful walks in, doesn't know what's happening, can't hear shit because of the conduit queue, because of his own Rev ult and all of this shit going on with the thermites back there. It kind of desensitizes you and makes it harder for you to hear and see what's going on around you, right? As you guys all know. But we can see Revengeful not know anybody's here. But until he gets 2 feet away from him and either hears or sees him, then he reacts. It looked like he was about to jump down. But look at this guy, already aiming down at a guy he did not see nor hear, before Revengeful, who's human and not cheating, can react to him. And is already shooting at him Revengeful rotates around like a normal person would who has no intel on the back end of his PC that would tell you exactly where he's headed. And this guy perfectly swings the angle and kills him. Swings down. Not aimbotting, but definitely could be using a Zim and definitely wall hacking. And that's all the evidence I think that I'll have to show you and that we have to show. I guess I'll show you everything, right? So I don't know if they had any intelligence here, that there was a team located behind there. And there's no real way for me to know because of how this clip was cut and spliced. But at the end of the day, in a circle like this, I would not be surprised to know, with my knowledge in the game, that there would be a team right there. Also, 2 times on the Prowler is crazy. So that's all that we have to kind of formulate our opinions on, because Revengeful, who claims that he had no clue that these people were cheating at any point of their session, I believe they played for like 8 hours or something. He had no clue that they were cheating and therefore deleted the footage. And now the only piece of evidence that we have to formulate our opinions and thoughts on this subject is a post from Cautions, who clipped this whole thing from his end because he thought that that person was cheating and why is Revengeful playing with him, and that's what started everything, right? And so I say he's either an idiot for knowing or not knowing, because he kind of is at this point. You have to be better as a staple in the YouTube community with who you play with, or you end up like Water got him. Reply to somebody else's tweet that this exact tweet actually that JT was in his stream while he was playing Revengeful, was playing with these 2 cheaters. A few people in his chat at the very least made him aware. He knew. Okay, so now we have an extra layer of stupidity on Revengeful's part. Everything that I've already talked about, plus the fact that if this is true, you now have people telling you that these people are cheating, and yet you still continue to play with them. That has happened to me before. And because I could not conclusively tell whether or not the person I played with was cheating in that moment, I left because I don't know who they are. I've never heard of them, and therefore I'm not going to be an idiot and ruin my reputation on a hunch that maybe this guy really isn't cheating. Fuck that. I've been a part of the community for too long. If somebody says that shit and I can't confirm that it's true or not true, I'm gone. That's how easy it is. RP has never mattered for me. I don't need to play with cheaters to gain RP. I'm good either way. But this is what... Yada, 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 whatever. The tweet before my response is, I'm not necessarily defending him, only saying you can't really know. That's obviously true. I think that's very reasonable. It's happened to me, so I can see how it happens to other blah, blah, blah. Yes, it is true. You may not actually know whether or not this person is cheating, especially if you've never heard of them before. But there are a lot of people that warned you, and there were a lot of red flags that you ignored, intentionally or unintentionally. And I further commented saying, you can know based on his actions, delete evidence, and act defensive when confronted. This person, Death by JT, also said people in chat were letting him know in real time that they were cheaters, and he ignored. He, at the very least, had an inkling, you know? But just as we've seen before, the need to hit pred to prove to everyone that you're not a console shitter supersedes the integrity that you may have for the game. I think I summarized it perfectly right there. Honestly, I've been yapping this time, but I could have made a video just reading that and ended it right there. And then the person who initially made those claims responded to me by saying, dude in chat literally said to Revengeful, you committed a good amount of time building your brand. I'd hate to see it ruined by you playing with them. We have to take this as the truth because we have no way of discrediting nor disproving it because he deleted all the evidence. So what do we have to work with? The only thing that we have to work with are first-hand resources who were there in that exact moment in his stream, who saw things as it happened. And so, unfortunately, I don't know how you could beat these allegations as Revengeful, because it seems as though at this point, at some point in your mind, Revengeful had to have known he was playing with cheaters, and that's why I fault him, and that's why he's guilty, and that's why at the end of the day, he has ruined his own reputation. Now, I don't think a mistake like this should do exactly that, but that's the reality of online right now. He will always be looked at for the rest of his time with Apex as somebody that played with cheaters. And it's going to take a lot of effort and apologizing to correct that, if that's the route that he wanted to go. And so now we go on to Revengeful's side of the story, essentially him saying that I messaged him, cheater, and this is what he has to say: not the worst cheats. People would be getting away with way worse cheats, but still cheating. In response to what exactly? Oh, the series of tweets that I already saw. That was a three-parter, I guess. So he shows a conversation that was interestingly and conveniently cropped out. And it starts with, LMAO, let's run it tomorrow if you get a new account. That's crazy. Bet bro, yeah man, I'm tight. I literally play on a 90 FPS laptop. Just been grinding to get better. Laughing emoji. Guess you can't have good days. The conversation ends there. At this point, genuinely, and I don't mean this to be rude, I think Revengeful is an idiot. And I think he should be held accountable for his actions, because he has now self-incriminated his own self with this message. And I think if you guys haven't been able to come to the conclusion yourself, Revengeful knew that they were cheating at some point prior to Caution calling him out, and continues to post self-incriminating evidence that only makes it look worse for him. You know, we have a beautiful amendment in this country. It's called the Fifth Amendment, and you could do something called plead that Fifth Amendment. You could plead it, right? I'm exercising my right to the Fifth Amendment. You know what that means? Essentially means just shut the fuck up, right? You don't have to say anything when you're being accused of something. Just shut up. Because a lot of times when people get to yapping and they don't know their rights, they incriminate themselves, and the judicial system doesn't need to do anything on their end. The person just yapped themselves to jail, and that's what Revengeful has done. How do you start off a conversation conveniently cropped out at the top by saying, LMAO, let's run it tomorrow if you get a new account? Now 100%, now Revengeful knows that this person he was playing with has gotten banned. Also, this guy's Discord name is also Zen, Acronis Zen. His in-game name was Zim Connector, and now his Discord profile picture, which is nothing at all, and his name is Zen. That doesn't raise alarms. Let's run it tomorrow if you get a new account, insinuating that this person just let him know that he was banned, but probably didn't let him know. I'll give Revengeful the benefit of the doubt, although I'm probably being too nice, that he let him know that he got banned, but probably not for cheating, probably for saying something stupid, right? He could have easily lied to him and said, you know, I got banned for calling somebody shitter and blah, 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 you know, whatever. But do you lack critical thinking? Let's run it tomorrow if you get a new account. This was so conveniently cropped that I can't help but think that Revengeful may have known that he was cheating in this very moment right here. But as we've seen before many times in the community, some people don't give a fuck as long as it means that their RP is gaining, because that's how much RP means to them. There's this misconception that the more RP that you gain on PC, the more growth that you'll have on your channel. And so it means a lot to somebody like Revengeful, who just switched to PC from console and is trying to make a name for himself on PC. And it took him 3 weeks to hit Predator, which is long as shit. And he did so while playing with cheaters. And now we have evidence that he provided himself for it. Now he's showing us that before Caution called him out, he knew he got banned. He may have just not known exactly why he got banned. And then so he continues on now by saying, so what's going on here with everyone accusing me of playing with cheaters? Both of you, Zimas Russo and Zen. Zimas Russo now blatantly admits that he's cheating. I'm not cheating. I'm using a third-party application to tap strafe on controller. really cheating. I use third-party recoil suppression. It's cheating, but it's not a lot only on specific gun. I don't know if English is his first language here, hence the lack of clarity through these messages. But third-party recoil suppression, you know what that's telling me? Zim, a Cronus Zen, or a strike pack. But based on the footage that we've seen as well, I think they're lying and admitting now that they've been caught. Okay, if I can cop a plea deal and admit that, okay, I'm cheating in one of these 3 ways, as long as everybody doesn't know that I'm wall hacking. So he's going to admit, of course, to the things that seem less serious, at least in his mind, that I'm using a third-party. First off, third-party application to tap strafe on controller is not cheating. So I don't know why he's mentioned that. And again, I think it's for the reason that I'm about to explain. Second, third-party recoil suppression is one of the 3, and that's definitely cheating. To suppress your recoil and to remove it in a game that relies heavily on your recoil control, that's cheating, obviously. And I wouldn't put it past you, based on all things that we've talked about, that you're probably wall hacking as well. But you don't admit to wall hacking because you know that's bad, and you can't argue against that. And so I guess strategically, so you admit to using less severe cheating applications that make it not look so bad for you and therefore for Revengeful. But based on everything we've seen, they're definitely cheating. And he got banned for it. And then so Revengeful further goes on to make his own tweet about the situation that ended up getting a lot of views as well. And he goes, "Last comment on this and I'm done. I just don't understand how I'm supposed to know that these 2 random dudes I found off LFG on Discord are cheaters, when the cheats are tap strafing and recoil suppression. If it was something obvious like wall hacks or aimbot, then yeah, I would know." Well, first off, Revengeful, you wouldn't know clearly based on this entire tweet and this entire situation. Because I think that person is not just cheating using a third-party application for recoil suppression, such as, Strike Pack or Chrono Zens, or even Zim. You know how often those go undetected in Apex and how many people use them on both console and PC? No. He probably got banned for wall hacking, which is something that is I shouldn't say easily, but which is something that is noticeable on the back end for the security team, and is something that will get you banned 100% of the time. I just don't understand how I'm supposed to know these things. You're a grown-ass adult. That right there, again, goes back to the whole gaslighting manipulation factor that people use when they know they're guilty and they just don't know how to apologize and just man up and say, "Yo, I fucked up." I just don't understand how I'm supposed to know these things. You've been playing the game for how long? You know how bad the cheater situation is. You're a grown-ass man. You can't think for yourself? Come on, bro. I'm trying to give you the benefit of the doubt here. Caution replies, "The last time I'll speak on this. They both had wall hacks and it was super obvious. I have clips of it. I don't think you're a bad person or need cheaters to hold pred." I believe the exact same thing, to be honest. Which is why the whole thing is confusing. I want to give you the benefit of the doubt, but deleting the VODs is why it's so hard. No one's out to get you personally. We just want to keep this community clean. And weirdly enough, that's the same stance that I take on it. I'm trying to do what I can to expose these cheaters, just like I did about the #1 Lifeline way back in the day, and any other small player that I've called out in between there, and especially with this right now with Revengeful. It's important that you guys have this information available to you guys. I don't think what he did was okay at all whatsoever, and I think it should be a strike on his record. But I don't think we shouldn't forgive him as a community, so as long as he admits to these things and does better and becomes smarter and learns from it as a result. That's where he I forgot to mention that he also coped with the fact that you're just an average player. So now Revengeful is directly insulting Caution. Revengeful, I hate to break it to you, bro. Revengeful, you are the most average player, one of the most average players in the community, unfortunately. Let's take a look at your stats. You've been playing the game for how long? You have how many games to get as many kills that I have? What's your KD look like on rank back in the day? Revengeful, you were known as a meme in the console community for one playing Revengeful. That was your main. I'll give it to you. You weren't necessarily using it because you had to. That's just who you main. But 2, you ratted in every season when all the console shooters were there. And only until we all left console did you finally start hitting pred. You were a Heartstuck Masters and Pub Stomper for a long time. And a mid one at that. And the fact that you're now directly attacking Caution, who has been nice to you the whole time, and calling him an average player, only further incriminates you. And golly, bro, we're about 8 layers deep now. And if you guys don't think that at least at one point he knew that he was cheating and he's just covering up his ass, I don't know what to tell you. At that point, you might just be meat writing. And I say that with kindness as well. It doesn't take the most critical thinking to be able to come to this conclusion yourself, Revengeful. I think that's genuinely all that I have left to show you guys. You guys can let me know whether or not you believe that he intentionally played with them at the beginning, or at least at some point that he knew that they were cheating. But you delete the VODs, you ego trip on Caution, you make up all these BS excuses, you almost begin to start gaslighting, you're bringing up irrelevant pieces of evidence that don't exonerate you at all, and kind of just show your lack of awareness on the situation. You claim to not have a damn clue why this is as big of a deal as it is. It's just a simple mistake. I just play with cheaters. You know, why can't people just get over it? What else do I have to do? It's hard for me to believe that you didn't know at one point, bro. And that's why I have a huge problem with it. It's sad that I even have to think about this next time if I do LFG again. Like, I'm just trying to gain, man. I can't pay attention in detail to someone's movement and aim and also try to play my best game. Yes, you can, if you were good enough. If you were aware enough. If you paid attention, which you just said you can't. And it is sad that you have to think about that next time you LFG. Welcome to the PC community. You're in the big leagues now, where cheating is possible. And a lot of people do it. And you have to do what you can to protect yourself. Or else you end up in a scenario like this where I gotta make a video about you. And he kind of just laughs it off as a joke, LMAO. Like, it's almost irritating to see someone who's built a name for himself switch over to PC and be so unaware of everything that's going on and find himself smack dab in the middle of all of it and just laugh it off like a joke. He did not. And so I think my final conclusions on this would be, to begin with, of course, he did not know who they were and if they were cheating or not. But based on all the evidence that I've shown you, my conclusion is that at some point along his playtime with these two players, he knew at least somewhere in his mind or in his heart or in his fucking nuts that team was cheating. And yet he still continued to play with them. Which, by the way, is enough to get you banned in this game. And that's exactly why Facilitator, back in Season 6, I believe, got banned. He wasn't cheating. His teammates were. And he played with them knowingly. And Revengeful still continued to play with them. Got caught. Deleted the footage of everything. Tried to cover his own ass. Went on a maniacal ego trip. Becoming completely defensive about everything. And so based on all these factors, I can conclude that he knew that he was playing with cheaters at some point. And he needs to be held responsible for it, just like I would, just like anybody else would. But that doesn't mean that he should be ostracized for the rest of his time here. Although, unfortunately, with situations like this, that's typically what happens. You guys can let me know down in the comments what you think about the whole situation and whether or not we should forgive him. I guess your general thoughts, if you were surprised or not. I'm not surprised. I've seen people far bigger than Revengeful slip up like this and end up cheating or get caught with playing with cheaters. This is not a random case. This is not a rare case. This happens all the time. It's unfortunate that I have to even make this video. Hopefully, Revengeful, you've learned something from the situation, and you know you can only do better from here. But I think the way that you're going about things right now is the worst possible way, and you know maybe it'll hit you eventually. And either way, guys, peace out, and I'll see you guys next time. Bam, 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 bam. Bam, 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 bam. Bam, ba, bam, 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 ba, ba, bam, bam, ba, bam, bam, bam. Bam, ba, bam, 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 ba, 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 bam.